Everybody wishes that they could go back in time to give their teenage selves some advice. So here are my 21 pieces of advice to my 18-year-old self. First piece of advice I would offer my 18-year-old self is to ask myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. So at 18 years old, I was in college doing A-levels, and at the time I should have asked myself, why am I doing A-levels? What are the goals? What are the aims and objectives? Where do I want to be? Am I doing the correct course? Should I even be doing a course, and is it making me happy? Develop skills. I would be asking myself what you're doing to develop your skills, whether that be in writing, reading, whether that be in revision skills, any kind of skill that's going to help you later on in life. So if you are going down the academic route and you know you're going to have university exams, what are you doing right now to prepare for those exams later on? Similarly, if I was interested in something or a sport, what am I doing in the current moment which is going to help me 5-10 years down the line? Take more photos. That is another one I would do. Looking back through my digital albums, I don't have very many photos of myself in college or even in university for that matter. There's a few here and there, but there was a lot of memorable moments that I didn't take a picture of, which I wish I did. Start documenting your life. So again, when I was younger, in my teens, there was a lot of memorable moments which I documented, which I wish I'd documented, so I could look back and think, you know what, look how far I've come. I started doing that recently, so when I started my first YouTube channel, I used to vlog on there, and in terms of my personality, in terms of the things that I've learned, my skills, a lot has changed, and I've been able to see that development in the last 5 to 6 years. But had I documented my life 10 years ago, I would have seen the bigger change which has taken place, but also pinpointed some of the issues that I may have been going through at that time, which could have helped me later on. Make sure you connect with other people. As a teen, I only wanted to talk to my friends and my family. I was never really going out of my way to talk to others. Others did speak to me, and of course I spoke back to them. Of course I tried to make friends with them, but I never went out of my way to do that. I always waited for someone else to instigate. So I would tell myself to be a tiny bit more confident. Make sure you're using your communication skills. Make sure that people don't just see you, but they also hear you when you're in a room. Being kind is the biggest one. As a teen, I was a kind person, but I could have been kinder to a lot more people. And I think being kind would have allowed me to create those connections with different people. As I said, I used to hang around with a lot of the same people, but I think being kinder would have allowed me to perhaps make better friends and perhaps have done some things differently as well, specifically in university. Invest your money, don't blow it on silly things. Now in university, when you get that student loan, you get that grant, whatever the case may be, whatever funds you're getting in, you think you're flipping Pablo Escobar and you start spending money left, right and centre. Had I invested a tiny bit of that money into, for example, Bitcoin, into some stocks, some shares, things like that, that money over a prolonged period of time would have grown, and I would have been in a different position financially. Thank God I'm not in any sort of debt, anything like that, but I would have been in a better off position financially. So I would have invested in Bitcoin had I known about it. And the only reason I didn't is because my mind wasn't on investing, it was just on spending. It was on just getting the latest stuff to impress people that I really didn't like. So had I invested some of that money, which I'm doing now by the way, I would have been better off financially. Get more sleep. That's the biggest one for me. In university, I thought I was indestructible. I would go days without the right amount of sleep, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 3, and then all of a sudden by the end of the week I would crash the day before university, and I'd wake up on a Monday and I'd be absolutely tired for my lecture. So sleep more. Do a little work every day. When it came to my dissertation, when it came to doing any assignments, I would put it off until the last minute. In my first year, second and third, I didn't do that. I couldn't afford to do that. But my first year, it was pretty much last minute, and the only reason was because I found things hard. Had I sat down every day, maybe done a paragraph or two, things would have been a lot more easier later on. Second and third year, for myself, I was playing catch up. I was trying to catch up with those skills and those abilities that I lacked in the first year because I was rushing everything last minute, trying to get things done. Don't seek permission from people, just do it. We tend to seek validation and acceptance and all these other things from people, but the worst is seeking permission to do something. Just do it. If you want to join that basketball team, just do it. If you want to start that business, just do it. Don't ask permission. Just do your thing, because in the end, no one cares anyway. Don't worry about others' opinions. As I mentioned earlier on, when you are in your teenage years, especially when I was trying to find myself in university, I tended to start dressing a certain way and started, trying to impress others, when in actual fact, again, no one really cares. Everyone's in the same boat. No one knows one another, so they're all trying to impress each other. So don't worry about others' opinions, just worry about what you think of yourself and how that makes you feel. How hard am I working? Am I achieving the grades that I want to achieve? Am I getting all the work done that I said I'd get done that day? If I'm not, what can I do differently? And how can I be adjusting my strategy to make sure that I'm maximizing the hours that I have in the day to work? Don't worry too much about skipping lectures. It's all good. A lot of the times, a lot of the lectures are online. You can find the notes after the lecture in a PowerPoint presentation. So if you miss a lecture, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. There's notes there. You can go over them later on. Falling behind is okay. Again, if you have a full year to complete your dissertation, then if you're falling behind in terms of you're comparing yourself to your friends and how far they are and whatever else, don't worry about any of that. You're not falling behind on their timetable. It's your timetable you need to worry about. So set yourself a timetable, and if you are falling a little bit behind, it's fine. Maybe give up that Saturday where you're going to go out with your friends and work on yourself and catching up with your own time frame. Find ways to make passive income. Now, when you're younger, especially when I was younger, I was spending money, not really making money. In university, I didn't have a part-time job, but when I came home for the holidays, I did, and all the years before I went to university, I had a job. But I wasn't focused on passive incomes, mainly because I didn't know what the word passive income meant. I heard it thrown around. I heard digital marketing thrown around and all these other things thrown around, but I never really looked into it. So one piece of advice I would definitely give my 18-year-old self is to make sure you have a passive form of income. And back then, Instagram was popping, so I could have got to a point where I could have been creating Instagram pages for companies and doing all that other stuff, which obviously now people do for a living. Make sure you enjoy the journey. When you're 18, when you're in university, when you have all these stresses and pressures, you tend to forget that you need to enjoy life. That's how you find the most freedom, and how you find the most success is by enjoying what you're doing. If you're not enjoying it, you're never going to find that freedom and success. You're going to just think that whatever you're doing is something you're doing because you have to, not because you want to. So enjoy life. Learn to learn quicker. So when you are in an academic sphere, or if you are trying to create a business, you need to learn quicker, which essentially means that whatever skill you're trying to learn, you need a strategy to learn it quicker. So if you are into digital marketing and you don't know Google AdWords, you need to find a strategy to learn it quickly. So YouTube is a perfect example. You have breakdowns of how to create a Google Ads campaign, how to create an Instagram campaign. If you're doing things like revision, you have revision guides and tips. I know Ali Abdul has done some stuff on med school. So it's about learning to learn quicker. And back then, I definitely was not doing that. It was taking me ages to learn specific things, like remembering theorists, what year the theory was kind of discovered, and all these other things that I could have learned a lot quicker. Share your work with your friends. So if you are worried about your dissertation, your assignments, your next track, your business idea, share it with a good friend, someone that's going to be honest with you, someone that's going to give you some real advice, not any Tom, Dick or Harry who's going to just put you down and say this is rubbish. Share it with someone good, share it with someone that you know has got your back and has got your best interest at heart. Don't share it with anyone. Meditate daily. This is a big one for me. Back then I was so wound up about everything, about life and whatever else. I was praying, but I wasn't really meditating. Praying was kind of like I was going through the motions, but with meditating and having done a little bit of it recently, it just gives you a minute to calm down. It gives you a minute to put some perspective on what's going on around you and to help resolve any issues that you may be going through. So meditate daily. Observing more patience is another one. Again, when you're younger, when you've got youth on your side, you think that you should have everything right now. You don't understand the beauty of going through something and learning something over a prolonged period of time. Obviously back then I started writing music and I wanted it straight away, and now realizing that what I'm trying to achieve in a grand scheme of things, it's not something that should ever be given quickly. It's something that you need to gradually learn and build up. And the last thing was have a bit more fun. I think again, I was a little bit wound up, a little bit worried about what was going on, what was happening, am I doing this right, am I doing this right? I think it was just about having a little bit more fun. And now I had a lot of fun in university in my teenage years, but I think if I had a tiny bit more fun, it would have been a bit more of a positive experience for me. And I feel like it wasn't because I wasn't focusing on the important things, I was focusing on the things that I thought were important. Guys, that is the video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you like and share, and I will catch you guys on a next video. But before I go, all of my social links are in the description box below, along with my last video. Peace and love, take care.